Hi guys and welcome. Today we're making these beautiful Sherpa bags. These bags come in this really pretty color block design. They measure about 9 by 11, so they're the perfect size, almost like a clutch with the handle. Just perfect to fit some odds and ends, not overly big, but just really soft and chunky. The Sherpa yarn is so nice and chunky. The yarn that I use is Lion Brand Gopher Fleece Sherpa. This is a size 7 jumbo yarn, 100% polyester, and it's so nice and soft. This is the color cream, and then this is gold, fern, and blush. So all you need for the pattern besides the yarn is an 8mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle to weave your ends in. I always suggest this drawstring threader. It has a thicker end for thick yarn and then a blunt tip so it doesn't snag your yarn. And then a pair of scissors. If you want to check your gauge, a flexible measuring tape, and then a few stitch markers. Technically, you only need one stitch marker, but there's a few places where a second one might be helpful. So a few stitch markers. And then with crochet bags, I always suggest getting some type of purse liner. Let me show you how this one works. It's just really helpful. They fit right into the bag and keep your things organized. I don't know if you can see that or not. But if you have things like keys and stuff, it just doesn't stick out of the holes and it keeps it nice and structured as well. So I really recommend that. I'm gonna have everything linked in the caption below, as well as the free pattern on my blog. I'm gonna get everything set up. You will need 40 yards of each color. Okay, so this pattern is a pretty easy pattern, but I did rate it as intermediate because Sherpa yarn can be kind of difficult to work for. It is not really for beginners because you have trouble seeing your stitches. You have to feel for your stitches. So I'm gonna pull out other yarn examples in between just to give you kind of a better view of the stitches while I'm working these videos. But the pattern itself is pretty basic, so I think you can work through it. The nice thing about Sherpa yarn is it is pretty forgiving. As you can see, the stitches all kind of run together, so it hides some of your mistakes. Okay, so you want to tail just long enough to weave your ends in, and you want to create a slip knot, and then loosely chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I chain 16. You can see it's really hard to see your stitches with this yarn, so you have to feel for the stitches. So you're gonna half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So you have to feel, I can feel there's one stitch here, and then the second stitch is here. So you yarn over, insert your hook into that second chain, and you can work in kind of whatever loop you can find. You're gonna work along the back side also. So if you're familiar with the back hump and you can find the back hump, go ahead and work in the back hump, but with the Sherpa yarn, it doesn't show. So just get your hook under one of those loops from the chain, and then we'll work in the remainder loops when we work along the back side. I'll show you in a minute. So 1, 2, I can feel it right here. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. Okay, and then you're gonna do one more half double crochet in that same stitch, that same chain. Okay, go ahead and mark that first half double crochet. You wanna make sure you mark the first stitch so you can tell when your new round starts. If you're really having trouble, you can mark the last stitch of the round also. The pattern is worked in a continuous round, so we definitely need that. Okay. Okay, so now we are gonna half double crochet in the next 13 stitches. So again, you can just feel the stitches. I can feel the next one here. So 1, 2, the foundation chain is the hardest part. Once you get your stitches correct on the foundation chain, it's pretty easy from there. Okay, so just keep going all the way down until you have 13 stitches. You'll have 1 stitch left. Okay, so I crocheted the 13 stitches. I have 1 chain left that I can feel. I wanted to show you with this yarn where you can see the stitches a lot better. So you can see I worked the 2 into that first chain. I crocheted all the way across 13 half double crochet, and then I have 1 chain left. So in that last chain, I'm going to show you with this yarn, you're going to work 4 half double crochet in that last chain. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You'll see it kind of curves around. Okay, and then you can just kind of close your tail. Now you are going to work in the remaining loops along the back side of your piece. You're going to work 13 stitches across, ending with 13 half double crochet across, ending with 2 half double crochet in the last stitch. So when you're working along the back side, that last stitch, the back side of the last stitch, I do not work in again, because you can see the 4 stitches already kind of curved along that back side. So I'm not going to work in those again. So go to that next stitch and then just half double crochet all the way across. 13 stitches. Okay, and you do exactly the same thing with the furry yarn. So feel for that last stitch. I can feel it here. Work those 4 half double crochet. And again, the Sherpa yarn is very forgiving. So if you put your stitch into the wrong stitch, as long as it's not completely off, you can see everything should be fine. You just need to make sure your stitch count is accurate. Then 13 across this back side, you got to feel for that stitch. Okay. I'm going to meet you when we get to the end of this and show you how we work those 2 half double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, this is what our pieces should look like. You have 1 chain left along the back side. It's the first stitch that you worked into. You do not work in around the back side of the last stitch down here, like I mentioned, but you do work in the back side of this first stitch. Because we only did 2 stitches here, we want another 2 to even things out. So we're gonna half double crochet in that last chain, 2 half double crochet in that last chain. Okay, just like that. And then remove that stitch marker. And we are starting round 2, and we're gonna work all the way around. Do 2 half double crochet in that first stitch. Go ahead and mark the first one again. Don't forget to mark your stitches. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, 2 half double crochet. And then we're gonna half double crochet 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll finish that off camera. Let me show you a little bit with this fur yarn. So again, I can feel my last chain is right here. So 2 half double crochet in that last chain. So for this round 1, you'll have a total of 32 stitches, I believe. Sorry, 34 half double crochet in round 1. So make sure you counted and that you have 34 total. Okay, so find your first stitch here. You can go ahead and leave your stitch marker in and complete the first stitch first. So 2 half double crochet. Go ahead and mark that first one. Okay. So 2 half double crochet and then 15 half double crochet. So I'm going to finish those 15 off and then meet you here when we get to this other side. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. You did 15 here and then you do 2 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So around that corner, 2 half double crochet, and that creates that circular design. And then 15 half double crochet all the way across. And then you're gonna end with 2 half double crochet in that last stitch. So again, find your next stitch around the corner, 2 half double crochet. The corners are the trickiest. Just do the best you can. Make sure you don't add or subtract any stitches. Okay, and then 15 all the way across the back side, 2 in that last stitch. Okay, so the end of round 2, this is what it looks like. We have one more round around the base and then it's pretty smooth sailing from there. This base is the trickiest just because the stitches are so hard to see. So this round 3 is basically the same thing we've been doing. We're just gonna have a few extra stitches because we created an increase. Round 2 should have had 38 half double crochet. Okay, so round 3, 2 half double crochet in that first stitch, the marked stitch. Okay, and then mark that first stitch. Okay, and then half double crochet 17. Okay. Once you have 17, 2 half double crochet in over the next 2 stitches, and then half double crochet 17, 2 half double crochet in that last stitch. So again, 2 half double crochet in that marked stitch. Okay. Mark that first stitch. So 1 and 2, and then 17 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next 2, 17 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, so after round 3, you should have 42 stitches total. Remember to do the 2 half double crochet in that last stitch. So this is what the base should be looking like. And it's pretty smooth sailing from here. So I'm not gonna have to reference this other yarn as much because we're gonna be doing just a lot of half double crochets. So now we are gonna be going up the side of the bag. So this is the outside of the bag. As you're working, the yarn facing you is the outside of the bag. If it has a tendency to curl up backwards, just make sure you kind of curl it endwards. You can weave your tail in if you want. Okay, so rounds 4 through 6, we are just going to half double crochet in each stitch around. Each round will have 42 half double crochet. So just half double crochet in that marked stitch. Remember to mark the stitches. You want to make sure you always end and begin in the right spot. If you mess up a little bit in between, it's fine, it will be hidden, but you need to make sure you always end and begin in the right spot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is what your finished piece after round 6 should look like. The height is about 4.5 inches. And now we are going to switch colors. So this is what it will look like. You'll notice you'll be slightly off-centered from the side of the bag. You'll have a few stitches left here on the side. That's what you want. So you are going to slip stitch to your marked stitch. And then fasten off and weave in that tail. Okay. And you can remove that stitch marker. So keep in mind that slip stitch that you fastened off with, you do work in that stitch when you add the new color, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So let me show you on this clearer piece. I'm gonna remove that stitch marker. Just slip stitch into that next stitch and then just fasten off and go ahead and weave your loose end in. Okay, so we're gonna add the new color. So this is the back side. This is where I slip stitched. So this would be the front side of the bag. This is what it should be looking like. So we are going to attach our new yarn just right in the center of, if the bag is facing you, the right side is facing, right in the center of that right side of the bag. So this is where my slip stitch was. I finished off. I'm just gonna find the center and we're gonna attach the new color here. And I just put my yarn through, pull up a loop, and then chain one to secure it. And then this round, we're just gonna half double crochet all the way around, starting in that same stitch that you just secured your yarn in. So work that first half double crochet right there and then mark that stitch. I do find with this fuzzy yarn, the light colors are a little bit easier to see, but you kind of have to feel around no matter what. Okay, so we're just going to half double crochet all the way around. We'll still have 42 stitches total. When you get back around to that finishing off point where you did the slip stitch right there, make sure you work into that slip stitch or you'll end up losing a stitch and only have 43, or sorry, you only have 41 stitches. So make sure you have 42 stitches on this round. And again, you just have to feel for those loops. The loops are actually really easy to fill in this yarn. So once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Okay, so I finished round 8. This is what it looks like. Sorry, round 7. I'm gonna show you right here what I mean. This was the slip stitch where I fasten off that color. So I slip stitch into this stitch right here. So go ahead and work into that slip stitch, half double crochet into that slip stitch, and then don't accidentally work into this stitch again because you already slip stitch into it. Slip stitch into that, or sorry, half double crochet into that last stitch. And then for round 8, it's just a round of half double crochet again. So this was my first stitch, just half double crochet all the way around. And when you weave in the ends, you have a pretty seamless area right there. So when you get finished and weave it in, it is pretty seamless over there. With the Sherpa yarn, you can't tell at all, but you can tell with regular yarn, it's pretty seamless as well. Okay, so just mark that first stitch like we've been marking and do one more round of half double crochet all the way around. We should have 42 stitches total. Okay, so we finished round 8. Round 9 is a decrease round. So we are going to half double crochet 4 and then half double crochet 2 together and repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to show you on the other yarn how we do the half double crochet 2 together so you can see it better. Okay, so find that first stitch and we're going to half double crochet in that stitch. Mark it. Okay. So that was one half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay. So 4 half double crochet total, and then we're going to half double crochet 2 together. So you yarn over, insert your yarn in the neck, or sorry, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5. That is a half double crochet 2 together. So we just repeat that all the way around. So half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, that's 4. And then half double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. Okay, repeat that all the way around. You'll have a total of 35 half double crochet. Okay, this is what our bag is looking like. Here's with the regular yarn. Notice you'll be slightly off-centered. You want to make sure everything is lined up correctly like this, and that your first stitch of the next round is about right here, or your handles will be off-centered. You can always adjust the handles if you need to. If for some reason you're over here in a different place and your handles are off-centered, you can just adjust the number of stitches in between. So I'm going to show you the handles on this yarn so you can see a little bit better. So remove that stitch marker. Okay, so we are going to half double crochet in the next 9 stitches. And if you're lined up properly, everything right now will line up as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so we're starting the first handle. So we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you skip 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then half double crochet in that next stitch. And then you're going to half double crochet in the next 12 stitches. So half double, this counts as part of the 12. So find that first stitch after you skip 6 stitches and then half double crochet 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you can see that looks pretty centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have about the same number of stitches and it's nice and centered. If for some reason yours is not centered, you probably just skipped a stitch or added one somewhere, so you're just slightly off centered from where you need to be. So if that's the case, you can just adjust it. Like instead of crocheting 9, crochet 8, and then you'll have an extra one on the other side. It's pretty easy. Just get it centered however you need to. So that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now we need the handle on the back side. So you can see we are centered. We're starting on the back exactly where the front is. So same thing, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then skip 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then half double crochet in the last 2 stitches. So that is what it should look like. Make sure it's lined up on the front and the back. And just adjust those stitches in between if you need to, if you're off-centered. Okay, so I finished that first round with the handles, which would have been round 10 on the Sherpa bag off camera, because I know you can't really see my stitches well anyway. So this is the back side. This is what the front side looks like. Okay, so we just have 2 rounds left. We're gonna finish these handles up. So I am gonna show you with this other yarn so you can see what I'm doing. So this is what it looked like after we finished that last round. Your first stitch should be about right here. And your handle should be nice and centered. Okay, so round 11, we're gonna half double crochet in the next 9 stitches. Mark that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you should be right to where all those chains were. If for some reason you had to adjust the number of stitches here to center the bag, make sure you do the same number that you adjusted so that you're now at where the chains are. Okay, so in the chain space, so a chain space, you work all the way around all the chains. You don't go into the individual stitches like you normally would. You work all the way around the chains. So we are going to add 7 half double crochet into this chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. Okay, and then you are going to half double crochet in the next 12 stitches. So all the way across here, and then we're gonna half double crochet in those chains again for that second handle. So you wanna make sure you don't skip this first stitch. You need to work into that. On the Sherpa yarn, it's a lot harder to see. You're gonna have a stitch like right here, right after all of your chains. Just make sure you get a stitch there. If you have to add an extra one into the handle, you can do that. But there's gonna be a little space right here, and you need to make sure you work in that, or you're gonna end up decreasing. So half double crochet in the next 12. 2, 3. Okay, so I finished the 12, and then half double crochet 7 in that chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, don't forget to work into this stitch right here, half double crochet in the last 2. Okay, that's what it's looking like. Okay, I'm gonna finish that round on the Sherpa off camera and meet you back here so I can show you what it looks like, and then we'll finish that last round of stitches. Okay, I'm on the back side of the Sherpa, and I wanted to show you how I work those half double crochet in the handle. The yarn is really thick, so you just go all the way around, just like that. 7 times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then make sure to work into those last 2 stitches. It's really hard to find that stitch right there, so if you have to work another one in the handle, go ahead and do that. 1 and 2. So that's what it looks like on the Sherpa bag. It makes a really nice thick handle. Okay, and now we have that final round. And we're gonna do some slip stitches to kind of finish it off, and we're gonna work in the handle again. So round 12, we're gonna slip stitch in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, okay, that's my 9th slip stitch. And then we're gonna single crochet in the chain space. So we're not gonna single crochet in the top of the half double crochet. We're gonna go all the way around the chain space. So insert your hook and kind of elongate it as you go and complete a single crochet. And we're going to work 7 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. The Sherpa yarn looks a lot fuzzier and nicer when you work that. Okay, and then we are going to slip stitch in the next 12 stitches. That was 12. And then single crochet in the chain space 7 times, just like we did the front handle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then slip stitch in those last 2 stitches. I forgot to mark my first stitch of the round. It was right here. Okay, that's what you have going. And then you fasten off. pull the yarn through, and then we're gonna finish off with the invisible join method. Okay, so we're gonna find the second stitch of the round. This was our beginning slip stitch right here. We're gonna find the second stitch of the round, insert your hook under both loops from front to back. Okay, and then the last stitch of the round, which is right here, this would be the last slip stitch, both loops. We're gonna insert our hook from front to back under the back loop only, and then finish it off and weave our tail in. And then you have a nice invisible join. So that is what the bag looks like with regular yarn. You see the handle should be nice and centered, just like that. I'm gonna finish the last 2 rounds of the Sherpa bag so I can show you some tips and tricks about that and what it looks like. Okay, so I'm on the back side of the Sherpa bag, working the single crochet into the handle. So just insert your hook all the way around the entire chain space, the entire handle, and then elongate that loop a little before you complete the single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, it creates that big chunky handle. And then just slip stitch in those last 2 stitches. Okay, and then fasten off. Pull your tail through. And then you can do the invisible join method on here. It doesn't really show with the Sherpa yarn, so you don't have to be fancy if you don't want to. But so the mark stitch is the first stitch of the round. You go over to the second stitch of the round under both loops of that slip stitch from front to back and pull. And I'm gonna remove this. And you can't really see it, but you find that last slip stitch of the round and you go through the back loop only and then just finish weaving your ends in. Okay. So this is what the back side looks like. See how that handle is nice and centered? And you can't really tell, once I didn't weave this end in, but once I pull it tight and weave it in, you can't really tell where I switched yarn either. And then this is the front of the bag. There you have it. I hope this tutorial wasn't so confusing with the Sherpa yarn. I hope the other yarn was helpful. The other yarn was Lion Brand Lazy Days, Lion Brand Cover Story Lazy Days Thick and Quick. It's a tube style yarn and it shows really nice definition, so I thought it would be helpful for you guys to see the stitches. Anyway, your bag is done. You can add the cute little screw-on tag to finish it off if you want, and the little bag liner, and you're all finished. Style it with a cute outfit or give it as a gift. It would also be a cute tote, like a shower tote, not to put in the shower obviously, but you know, some toiletries and stuff to carry with you, or a little makeup bag. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I hope you guys have a nice day.